as you have received those papers back, is there anything you feel you would like to go over as a group? A lot of it's detailed work. I mean, when you compare this to that of general chemistry, this is much more detailed, and I think you would agree with that just because of so many rules that you got to follow. And to me, sitting on that side, I think going through this for the first time, I think looking at the numbers when you're assigning them and then alphabetizing them, that would confuse me too. It's when you have exposure to this and practice, we get better. That's why you ladies are so good at volleyball, okay? Because one of those things, you've been exposed to it, you've worked at it, and you've gotten better. And there's no reason to believe that this will be any different. So, and you might be looking at some of the scores and think, geez, there's a lot of points. It's consistent with everybody, so I think you would agree we're not singling anybody out. It's just that opportunity to where when we feel we make those mistakes, again, two things. One, try not to repeat them, and two, learn from them. So looking at that, the naming aspect, is there anything you feel, gosh, or because like I said, I would just maybe put a circle around it, and chances are that just meant that you just need to be flip-flopped. Very easy fix and very easy to do. Just perhaps the first big grade of this quarter semester, but nothing to be losing sleep over, all right? Even when I try to talk to the cross-country runners, it's always better to pass more people than pass you. I mean, that's just one of the things that I've always tried to do, and one of the things you just get better at it. Okay. Probably the biggest one, and I'm just going to speculate that to me, I think this is something that's worth going over, even no one's asking it, and that's fine. One of the things we always say, X marks the spot. Okay. I don't know how many X's I'm going to need, but I am going to mix these up though. I kind of failed at that. Try that again. And maybe those should be written in different colors. That might help. Okay. Try this. And one more. Try this one. I think this one's had it. Let's try this guy. Okay. Took me a little bit of time. Sometimes I got to think about how this goes. Remember, when we say X marks the spot, what that means is that X is what is attaching to the parent chain. And we left off the two simplest ones. Okay? So these are all the derivatives that we've gone over with the exception of two of them. So what are the two easiest ones that are not up there? Methyl and ethyl. Okay? Because, of course, a methyl group is just CH3. It's derived from methane. The next derivative was ethyl, derived from ethane, C2H5. So looking up there is, do you feel it's more beneficial that we stand up here and ask you, or we can just stand up here and say, okay, this is this derivative, this is this derivative, this is this one, and then you really don't have to think about it. You just write it down. Uh, I don't think that's healthy, but or helps you out, but you got to tell me or give me some input on what you feel more comfortable with. Let's do that. Okay? So one of the things that a couple, 3 years ago, Malika was really good at that. We would have, he would come up here and explain that to the class. Now, not everyone is a Malik, not everyone is a Brody, not everyone is comfortable upon doing that. But we got, what, 5 up there? And shoot, we got 5 people in here. I didn't look in that corner. We could just draw numbers and each one gets to name a derivative. And how many of you would go, oh gosh, please don't call me. Please don't call me. Did you ever do that in elementary? Teacher just goes right around the room and, okay. So then you start counting. Oh, I'm the 15th person. I better look 15 questions down so I know what it is I'm talking about. And I honestly think, you ladies, you don't want to step up to the line serving and you hit it into the net. No one wants to do that. But does that happen? Yeah, and no one wants to do that, right? And one of the things I don't know if students who graduate from here going to that next level, we've said this before, you're sitting in a classroom and there's 150 other people. How many of you are comfortable with asking a question in front of strangers or other students? Or do you try to live by this motto, which is kind of mean and funny at the same time, because sometimes guys maybe fall into that category more than you ladies do. It's better to be a silent fool than speak out and remove all doubt. Yeah. Sometimes I think that's how you can tell when someone's lying. Their lips are moving. Isn't that like a Meghan Trainor song or something? I know you lie. Your lips are moving. Right? But so the lyrics are right, but is that right in the context with no, this coffee's. I know you lie. Your lips are moving. I can't think of. That's just what comes to mind. Okay, so yeah, I'm talking. So maybe I'm lying. This stuff is awful. Zoop, nose is getting longer. Something like that. Yeah. What was that in Shrek 2? I think that was on. One of the things, and I think this is healthy for you people too. When Sunday night rolls around, try to have a cutoff time that, okay, no more work. Is it always going to happen that way? No. No more schoolwork. I don't want to think about nothing but sitting here and just relaxing and doing what I want to do to get recharged for the upcoming week. Shrek 2 was on, and what is it? They get stuck down and tied up in a well, and Pinocchio comes and they say, Tell a lie. Say you're wearing women's underwear or something. I can't remember what it is. No, are you? No. So yeah. Anyway, okay. So with what we see here, hmm, I had a college professor who said a lot of the times what they'll do is they look to their right all the time. So, maybe you should look left today. So maybe we'll start in the left side and work around. So if you had to pick one, which one would you feel comfortable naming? Maybe any of them. Okay? So, oh, I get to pick that. Okay? Okay? How about this one? You are right. Why are you right? There's a couple things that we talked about. Look at the number of carbons first. Okay? We don't have a butyl group up here, but you say T for tertiary butyl. So why would that be an indication that you're right off the bat? How many carbons are there? There are 4 of them, okay? We got 3 in a row and 1 on the bottom, okay? Which is different than the other 2, but remember, we call X marks the spot, and this forms something called a tetrahedron. I'm guessing that's where it gets its name from, because when you look at specifically the structure of methane, okay, I do believe that forms something like this, and then there's another carbon or hydrogen you can't tell. It forms that type of a triangle, and I think that's, or tetrahedron, I believe that's why they call that a T-butyl group, or tertiary butyl, okay? So this is tertiary butyl. Okay, right behind you. Oh, I gotta pick one, don't I? Okay. Please. Well, are we praying for an easier one or something for the Ravens instead? Oh, you don't care about the Ravens? Okay. How about this guy right here? Was that a guess? You're right, but why are you right? Say that again, because I think you're right. You just don't know you're right. That's exactly right. See? You threw the ball up and you hit it over the net, no problem. Okay, propyl. All right. All right. What do we got here? You are right, but why are you right? That's right, because remember, you count your carbons here. There are 4 of them, which means it's got to be a butyl group of some sort. You just need to be able to determine which type it is. And it's not written as this C4H9 like this propyl group is, because if it's written like this, we can presume group. If we write C4H9, we can presume that is a butyl group, but we cannot presume that this is one of those other structures. So you had said secondary butyl, S-butyl. So that's right, because that butyl group attaches to the second carbon. All right, who gets the easy? You can go through a process of elimination, you two. So we'll start in the back. So what do we got here? You are right. Why are you right? There's 3 carbons, but this is also a propyl group too. But why are you right when you say this is an isopropyl group? Okay? You say that, okay? The reason, look at what we have here. C3 H7. Yes, that is a propyl group. Remember, we said we can make that presumption. Can we write C3H7 here and say this is an isopropyl group, do you think? You're shaking your head. No, you're correct. Why are you right, though? Because it has to attach to the middle one. You're right. So, isopropyl. Oh, gosh. You can use a process of elimination. You are right. Why are you right? Okay, and the best thing to do is look at how many carbons you have. There's 4, so you know that it's got to be some sort of butyl group, okay? And in this case, that carbon branches off of that middle one. Middle is the clue. Just like this is attaching to the middle one, that's why that's isopropyl. So this is isobutyl then, like you correctly said. Now, as far as alphabetizing, okay, now comes the tricky part. Who is first up there? This is really tricky now, because you got 3 of them to pick from. That's what we're asking. That's what makes it tricky. It does. Yep. I would be led to believe that this one's number 1. Okay. 2. Okay. And then 5. Okay. Now, the reason that makes it so tricky is what do we disregard when it comes to alphabetizing these? Except for the I in isopropyl, okay? So even if we have something that could be as simple as this, I mean, it is so easy to get hung up on this, okay? We got 2 derivatives on here. What are these derivatives called? Methyl and isopropyl. Even though this one has a lower number, which it does, okay? This one's on the second one, and this one's on the 4th. But which one's going to be wrote down first in the naming process? This isopropyl, even though it's on the 4th carbon. And I can understand that's probably tricky. It's just different because you've never run across this before. All right. Don't be surprised, okay, if tomorrow there's a question that says, it might say like tertiary butyl. In parentheses, it's going to say structure. And then you need to look down at the matching and pick one of those is the tertiary butyl derivative. You could very well say isopropyl and in parentheses, structure. So which one of these is the isopropyl structure? Those could be on there as well. And I don't know how many we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So there's going to be 15 questions on there, but some of them may not appear where the pictures are going to be on there. And then finally, it seemed a little tricky, a little hazy with those cis and trans isomers. Do you feel, is it beneficial for you to go over them, or do you feel comfortable with that? The simplest way, if it's a cis isomer, what are the derivatives doing? Okay, does that mean they have to be up or down? Yeah, it can be either one. It can be this or that, okay? So that means, yes, they can both be pointing up and be a cis derivative, both be pointing down. And then trans, of course, means They're split. One's up, one's down. Okay. And then finally, just wrap this up with a reaction or two. One of the things I was going to say, it's too bad, well, I always ask Kennedy this next hour. It used to be when we were growing up, I saw this in the book. Now this is a kind of a crazy name, bear with me, but this does exist because I've used it before. I was much younger than what you are right now, but okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hexachlorohexane. That's the scientific name, but the common name is called lindane, and it came in a metal container. This is outlawed by probably the FDA now, probably just because it's perhaps a carcinogen, but this lindane is an insecticide to prevent insect infestation in stored seeds. You can also use it on cattle. That's what we used to do, spray it on the cattle to keep mange from growing on them, and just awful smelling materials. And like I said, I don't even think you can get your hands on that, but her dad might remember that perhaps when they were growing up, that was probably maybe even sold at their egg sales store. Okay, so don't be surprised if you see something like this. Three isopropyl, we'll say heptane plus, give me a halogen. That is a halogen. Okay. So don't be surprised if you see something. This is on Friday, though. This part that we're going over is on Friday. Okay. We're just taking this extra time, so we'll make sure that we get that covered. So, how do we draw this out? Okay. What is our family? Well, it's an alkane, so it's saturated. And how many carbons are in that alkane? We can safely put all these on here. So right now, we've got hexane, or excuse me, heptane. Okay? So, what do we got to do on this guy? And to write it structurally correct, you can do it one of two ways. Remember, we can also do this. CH parenthesis. Now I got to think about that. Maybe it's why am I drawing a blank? Sudden. Okay. I was right. CH. Okay. Oh no, I got them backwards. It has to attach the parent chain on this one. That's right. Okay. You can also see this as an isopropyl group here, because this is saying you've got two methyl groups both on either side of the carbon. That hydrogen's on the bottom. As this is written now, currently, will this reaction proceed? Can we write the products up there? add chlorine to 2 of them, but yes, you do need to rewrite all 7 of them. It's a daunting task. But will this reaction proceed? It will not. Why not? Okay, these have to have a catalyst under there. So there's 2 things we had discussed. You can either have UV light or heat. We'll just keep it simple. Okay, so no, nope. Because what happens is these chlorines are very reactive. When this heat is added to that chlorine, it's looking to grab one of them hydrogens and replace it. Okay, and that's what happens. Okay, so got one product here. So we got to count for one of those chlorines where you want it. Keep it really simple. Okay? When we say second, you can either put it here or here. But I would picture probably be more likely here. We're not going to beat you up over that. And the next one, just go one over on the first one. That's all you got to do. Okay? And I know the question came up, well, it's not balanced on the left and right side. Well, we don't get 100% product. If you remember, we did percent yields last year. That is not the case. You do not produce 100% of this. So organic chemists, when they do these, we're not worried about whether this balances out or not. Okay? And then, like I said, this one product, then move it over one. There's a reason why we do that. Okay? And the reasoning is because next chapter, you do have to do both of them, and you have to label them. Here we don't label. We just say, here's one product plus the other one. Because it's still there. It didn't get taken off. That's why. It's still going to stay attached to the parent chain. This isn't going to replace that. That's still going to stay on there. On this one, and then you'd rewrite it again. You could. I'm just running out of room. Plus. There. You have to write both. Yes. Yes. Yep. That is correct. Okay, that's all I've got, and that you're probably saying that's probably enough. Unless there's nothing else there for today. Okay, until next time.